Ah, all praise to the Most High. Shalom, brothers. Shalom, sisters. Shalom to my brothers and sisters that are online. We thank the Most High for allowing us to fellowship on the seventh day, which is the Sabbath day, and we give honor and glory and praise that He keeps us in His favor. He is a forgiving God. He is a merciful God, and He is a God that loves the nation of Israel. But we must be obedient to Him. We must do that. Last night I taught a class about parenting in the new millennium. Okay, and it just shows you there's a lot that we have to work on. And one of the reasons why I talked about that is because it reflects into the class that I'm talking about today. The name of today's topic is Gathering the Troops in Defiance of Terrorism. Now, you know, a title like that can raise some red flags. You put the word terrorism up there, all of a sudden your phone starts ringing. You know, you're talking about gathering troops, or were they trying to build a military against us? You dig it? You're using troops and terrorism in the same language. Let me say that's a militia. That's a hate group. That's a people that's gathering military weapons and all that other stuff. That's not what we're talking about at all. I'm talking about getting our minds together. That's what I'm talking about. Give me Ezekiel 37 and the 10th verse. Let's start with that scripture before we get into this thing, because I want to somewhat clarify the title before someone runs off and try to make the wrong kind of noise. You know, you got it, Ezekiel.
Yes,
who's reading for me?
Officer, you like him.
Okay. You gonna be pretty busy today. Where you at? I know you hiding behind all of the technical goop over there. Nobody can really see you, but you got your hands full. But my brother Eliakim in the building.
Yes, sir.
All praise to the Lord. Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, verse 10.
Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 10. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them.
And the breath came into the Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel that broke the commandments of God, and we was cast into a land where we lost our name, we lost our language, we lost our culture, we lost our God, our norms, we lost it all, and we became Negroes. The definition of a Negro is basically the shell of what you're supposed to be. It's basically just a shadow of who we really are, a Negro. What the hell is that? But that's what we've become. And another word for Negro is dead. So that's, give me Revelation 11 and 8. Revelation 11 and 8. Then we're coming back to this here. Revelation 11, chapter the 8th verse.
Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. And their dead bodies.
Hold it. And the Negroes. And the Negroes is not just the so-called blacks either. That's the reason why I wanted to deal with it from a mental standpoint. Okay, when we say Negro, it ain't talking about the quote-unquote African Americans. We ain't no such thing as that either. There's 12 tribes of Israel, because that's what this chapter is talking about. The dead bodies is the Israelites. Okay, so the dead bodies, the Negro is not just the so-called black Americans. It's the whole 12 tribes of Israel. The Negro is described in Isaiah 1 and 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass, meaning the jackass, the donkey, knows where his master's crib is, but the true Israelites do not know who they are or where they come from. That makes you a Negro. That makes you a shell of who you're really supposed to be. Then it goes on to say, my people doth not consider, because we have been made to believe that we are Negroes. And we have become comfortable in being a Negro. So that's what makes us dead, willingly dead. So that means the Lord has to put the spirit of life from God has to come into these dead bones, into these 12 tribes of Israel, and revive them and bring them back to life. That's what this chapter and verse is talking about. Read that again.
Revelation chapter 11, verse 8. And their dead bodies.
Now I'm dealing with, because I got to keep a mental note here so I don't start straying all over the place. I'm dealing with why we got this title, that it's not some militant group that's out here trying to, weapons, compiling weapons and all that. That's not what we're about at all. This is about a revolution of the mind. Y'all all right? Yes, sir. Read.
And their dead bodies shall lie in the street.
And the Negroes, all 12 tribes of Negroes, and the Negroes shall lie in Babylon the Great. That's the great city. Okay, go ahead.
Of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom.
It is a spiritual Sodom. That's where we're at now. We're in a spiritual Sodom. This is Sodom, utopia, and lesbian heaven, paradise. That's where we're at. This is it. Okay, and we're drowning in it. Man walking around with boots and a dress on, and you're going to call that normal. Huh? Lord have mercy. Read.
Which spiritually is called Sodom.
Why did God say that this place where these Negroes are, the 12 tribes of Israel with a Negro mind, why does God say that it is a spiritual Sodom? Because this is not the actual ancient Sodom and Gomorrah, but this is the traits. This place carries the traits of Sodom and Gomorrah. This is it. This is it. Read on.
And Egypt.
And it is also spiritually called Egypt because this is not the actual Egypt. But what is common to this country here that is synonymous with ancient Egypt? Bondage. The same Israelites that was held in bondage in ancient Egypt is the same Israelites that's held in modern Egypt. So that's the reason why God says that this place is Egypt. And Egypt itself means bondage. That's what Egypt means. Now, a few weeks ago, I was in Jackson, I believe. I can't remember where I was. But I went and brought up the definition of Egypt. Because Egypt, for a lot of people, whenever you was to look the word up, they don't tell you what the actual word actually means. They would say what it is in terms of where it is on the map. It's a northwest region of such and such and this and that. And they say where the Israelites was held in captivity or something. But they never tell you what the Greek word Egypt actually means. The Greek word actually means restraint, hardship, bondage, persecution, restraint, misery. That's what the word literally means. Surrounded, boundaries, shut in. Okay? So that's what the word actually means. So when the Lord makes a point about this being spiritually called Egypt, the same things that happened to us in ancient Egypt is happening to us, the same Israelites, in this Egypt here. That's the reason why the Lord told Moses to tell us that the Lord shall bring you Israelites into bondage again, because you same spirits that I'm speaking to, you're going to be in bondage in this new Egypt, where it's going to also be called Sodom. Ain't that something? Moses was literally speaking to us, our very souls, speaking to us. And he said, you're going to be in this country serving just like you served in ancient Egypt. That's the reason why I used the word again there. Y'all see that? Reverend Johnson got to bring these scriptures out. Can't be holding back. Got to give it to us. Huh? Got to give the people what they want. You heard that song, right? Who is it, the OJs? Anyway, read.
And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
And the Negroes shall lie in the street of the great city, which is what?
Which spiritually is called Sodom.
It's a spiritual Sodom.
And Egypt.
And it is a spiritual Egypt. Go ahead.
Where also our Lord was crucified.
Where also the truth about Christ was crucified spiritually. Because Christ wasn't crucified here, but his teachings and his truth in his Bible is lied on. Totally lied on. You got thousands and thousands of churches in this country, and damn near none of them won't even tell you what Christ looks like. So how in the world are they going to be really teaching about Jesus? No. The truth about Christ in these churches is crucified, because you never learn that. Brothers and sisters coming to this congregation and coming to congregation of IUIC all over the world. And when they come in, we ask the questions or the information to come out. They say, well, I've been in church for like 40 years, some of them, 35 years, 20 years. And then they say they've never heard this. And they'll say this because they're hearing the Bible. And I say, well, how in the world you been in church for 30, 40 years and we're reading the same book that supposedly had been in your church for 30 years? How is it that you don't know this? Because the truth that what you've been getting has been crucified, and they've been giving you lies in the name of what the Bible's really supposed to be talking about. If you really want to understand what that law means when it says, take not the name of the Lord thy God in vain, that's a perfect example of it. Because they took the Bible and lied on it. That's taking the name of the word of the Lord is the Bible. When you take the Bible and you teach outside of what it's really talking about, you're literally taking the word of the Lord in vain, meaning in vanity of no substance, no real meaning, no nothing. That's you're making nothing out of the Bible. That's what vain means. Meaning you're making it of no importance. You're making it of no significance. That's why people could be in church for 30 years and they didn't get the significance of the Bible. Because it's been given to you in vain. They took the word of the Lord in vain. That's what that law means. Okay, read that again.
And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city.
And the dead Israelites, which are Negroes basically, shall lie in the street of the great city.
Which spiritually is called Sodom.
Which is a spiritual Sodom.
And Egypt.
And Egypt. It's also a spiritual Egypt. Go ahead.
Where also our Lord was crucified.
Where also our Lord, the truth about this Bible, was crucified because it was given to you in vain. Okay? Now, give me the 11th verse.
Verse 11. And after 3 days and a half.
And after 350 years of us being in this captivity, in this Egypt, not knowing who we are, dumber than an ox and an ass, all of the curses, everything. 350 years. So in another part of the Bible, it says time, which is 1. Then it says times with an S, which is 2, so the 2 plus 1 is 3. Then it says a dividing of time, which is 3.5 again. Another part of the Bible uses 42 months, which is 3.5. Another part of the Bible uses 1,260 days, which is 3.5 again. Okay? So all of that is reference to this time period of us being in total ignorance. So the Most High said, after that time period, I'm going to bring the spirit of life to wake you up. And that's where we're at now. Y'all all right? Yes, sir. Okay, read.
And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them.
The spirit of life from God entered into the minds of these people that's called Negroes, into the 12 tribes of Israel, the dead Israelites. The truth of this Bible entered into their spirit. Go ahead.
And they stood upon their feet.
And once they got that life and they lit up, they are no longer dead. That's the connection. Once the spirit of life has entered into them, they are no longer dead. That's what Ezekiel was talking about when we go back there. Go ahead.
And great fear fell upon them.
And great fear fell upon those who wanted to keep us dead. Listen now. There's a concerted effort to keep us dead. And that's the reason why I said that we have to learn how to gather together in righteousness to get beyond or to operate in defiance of the terrorism that is used to keep us as Negroes. Y'all all right? Yes, sir. All of these things that's happening to us as a nation is a terrorist act. We have been conditioned to think not. When we talk about what happened to us, what happened to James Byrd being dragged in Jasper, Texas, that was terrorism. What happened to Rasheem Carter, that was terrorism. What happened to Emmett Till, that was terrorism. Tell me it ain't terrorism. What would you as mothers and fathers do when you hear that members of your race, members of your community is tied up and dragged onto the back of a truck to nothing? What spirit goes through you when you hear that? You say, well, damn, James Byrd looked like me. Rasheem Carter looked like me. Emmett Till looked like me. These people are my brothers. When they feel pain, that pain transcends to me. The terror that he went through, just imagine being dragged. Put yourself on the back of a pickup truck with a chain wrapped around you and you being dragged for a mile. Think about it. He was alive when the chain got on him. When the chain was put on him, he was a full live man. And as he was being dragged, percentages of his life was leaving him. You don't want me to be empathetic to that? I put myself in that situation. I imagine myself in that. I imagine myself being what Rasheem Carter went through. Dropped in the woods, running, and he got all these people chasing after him. He's thinking like, you know what, I'm moments away from death. That's how we got to be. We got to learn how to be empathetic to each other's pain. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's a simple law. Think about the pain. Think about how things affect you before you do some evil to somebody else. Y'all all right? Yes, sir. Read.
And great fear fell upon them which saw them.
So their objective is to keep us in a terrorized state so that we don't wake up. So how do we operate in defiance of this? By coming together. Coming together. And the Lord is going to fight our battles, but we need to do what the Lord said. That's the problem. I was in Mississippi a couple of weeks ago, and we went, myself, Captain Gedaliah, shout out to Captain Gedaliah, awesome work that he's doing down there with the spirit of the community relations. Excellent work that he's done, and I had the distinct honor of being able to partake in that event, and I myself also, Deacon Isaac and other brothers, Captain Hoshea, you know, we went and we were at the protest at the Rasheem Carter for Justice protest, and listening to the sister and being a part of that is something that you want to feel. You feel that mother's pain. You feel the community's pain, because that's terrorism right there. You feel that, you know, and you have to relish that thing. So I say that, I mention all of that because Captain Gedaliah, he opened the doors to bring that kind of event forward, and I thank the Lord for putting the spirit on him to have that ability to communicate with the members of the community down there. And I pray that that's the spirit that we all have all over the country, all over the world, as a matter of fact. So shout out to Captain Gedaliah. Just wanted to put that out there. Let's get back to what we was reading.
Yes, sir. Revelation chapter 11, verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them.
Great fear fell upon our enemies who wished to inflict terrorism on us. It fell upon them because we're waking up from the effects of terrorism. We're organizing ourselves underneath Christ. Israel united in Christ. That's what it's about. Us organizing under the auspices, under the auspices of the Bible, under the auspices of Christ, under the direction and the command of the Most High. Y'all all right? So that's what we have to do, okay? Is there more on that?
That's verse 11.
Okay, now read verse 12.
Verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven.
So after we wake up, we going home, brothers and sisters. So we're at the doors now. After that, after the Most High continued, this is the reason why they're so afraid, because they said, Lord, the Lord is moving with these people. He's working on these people, and the Lord is making stuff happen. And they know their time is running out. Y'all all right? For them to label a section of history the Middle Ages, they had to have some indication on when the end is. Can y'all dig it? You cannot identify the middle if you don't have some idea about the ends. So they've been watching the Israelites. They keep a heavy watch on us. And they say, he's getting too close to that Bible. Get him away from that Bible. We got to lie on it. Give it to them in vain so that they don't wake up. That's the reason why they label anything that's about waking you up. They call it hate. They call it all kind of stuff, because their objective is for them to work on who they think are still Negroes. They think that they have confidence that their Negro programming is going to turn our own people away from their salvation. But they're finding out it ain't working. They're finding out it ain't working, and it's driving them crazy with great fear. Read that again.
And they heard a great voice from heaven.
And they heard a great voice from heaven,
saying unto them, come up hither.
That's when the bombs and the destruction going to come. The destruction, the bombs, and the deliverance all at the same time. We going home after that. Y'all all right? They're scared to death. And that's when the ground going to crack with bombs. The angels, even when Christ come back, is that even those which pierced him, all of that. All that's going to happen all at the same time. Psalms 91, all that's going to happen at the same time. Y'all all right? So this is what we are aspiring to be. Okay? This is underneath what God told us to do. Now, let's go back to Ezekiel
You want
37.
the rest of this, Bishop?
Oh, yes. Finish that up.
And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud.
And the Israelites that used to be dead ascended up to heaven in a cloud. That's deliverance.
And
That's Luke 168, all that. All them scriptures come together. Read.
And their enemies beheld them.
And our enemies going to look at us for a little while because after a few seconds, they're going to be dead and burn up. The scriptures say, only with thine eyes shall thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. So they're going to be dying while you're getting delivered. Oh, man, we're going to be shaken. Read on. And the remnant, what did it say after that?
And the same hour And the same hour was there a great earthquake.
Go ahead.
And the 10th part of the city fell.
That's America because of 10 horns. Go ahead.
And in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000.
And if the earthquake was slain thousands and thousands of men, it's using 7 to represent the complete, like the 7th day of the week is the end of the week. He's talking about a whole lot of death all in one shot. Go ahead.
And the remnant were affrighted.
And the remnant was us. As we being delivered, we going to see that. And we're going to be afraid because all that power and glory is going to have us, bro, I'm telling you, to see. Let me give you an idea of what you're going to be seeing. Give me Psalms 91. Is that the end of that verse?
Almost.
Huh?
Almost.
Read the rest of it.
And gave glory to, yes, sir. And gave glory to the God of heaven.
And we gave glory to the God of heaven for displaying that awesome power to deliver us from our enemies, like it says in Luke 161, that I may redeem you from the hand of those that hate us. That hate us. That's what it's talking about. Now, Psalms 91 and verse 5.
Psalms
to talk about how afraid that we're going to be when we get delivered. And we're going to talk about all of these numbers. It said was slain, what did it say in the Revelation? Slain
7,000.
7,000 men. Like I said, it's a complete number. Now, let's read.
Psalms chapter 91, verse 5. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night.
Thou Israelites, we ain't going to be terrorized no more. The Most High going to lift that spirit of terrorism off of us. We shall not be afraid of the terror by night. Go ahead.
Nor for the arrow that flieth by day.
We're not going to be afraid of that arrow, meaning that nuclear missile, like Deacon Asaph says. Oh, he loved that missile. Want to rub that missile. Keep it polished. Because that missile represents the instrument that's going to be used to get us the hell out of here. Show that thing on the board. Huh? We want to keep that thing shining up. Don't let no rust get on it. Huh? That's the instrument that the Lord's going to use. He said he has caused the nations to build an instrument for his work. That's the instrument there. And when he brings that, that's when all hell going to break loose. And that's going to be the time to come get Israel out of captivity. Okay? All praise to the Lord. Look at that. Moab, mother of all bombs. Then I got one that's called Foab, father of all bombs. Love it. Shoot. Lord calls them to build. But I don't want to build the bomb because I know it's going to blow my whole kingdom up. Lord said, you're going to build it anyway. He said, and you're going to build the button. You're going to build the button to press. I don't want to build it. I don't want to. Boom. Made him build it. Got the button ready with the light on it and all that. But I don't want to press the button. The Lord said, press the button. And there you go. Y'all all right? Yes, sir.
Psalms chapter 91, verse 5.
Yes, sir.
Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night.
Thou shalt not, the Israelites shall not, these are the Israelites that we was reading about that were once dead. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night. Go ahead.
Nor for the arrow that flieth by day.
The arrow is the nuclear missile. The arrow that flieth by day. Come on.
Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness.
Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness. These different diseases and the stuff that they're creating in these labs to try to wipe us out. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And some of our people are dying from that thing. But they're dying. Long as they keep these commandments, if the Most High allowed them to be taken out, we're going to see them again. We hope that we make it. Let's put it that way. Huh? Because if they die in this truth, they're going to be up there. The Most High got them. We want to make sure that we get to meet them as well. All right? Read.
Nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday.
We ain't going to be afraid of the destruction that wasted at noonday. Now we're going to read about the destruction that we're talking about. The same destruction that we was just reading in Revelation. Read.
1,000 shall fall at thy side.
There it is again. 1,000 shall fall at one side of you. Go ahead.
And 10,000 at thy right hand.
And 10,000 bodies shall fall at your right hand. Go ahead.
But it shall not come.
But the destruction
Shall not come nigh thee.
Why is not the destruction going to come near us and we're all standing on this earth together? Understand what we're talking about. Hold that and give me Zechariah. Give me Zechariah 12 and 14 or 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague. Give me that. Because the Bible hey, remember the point that I'm bringing. Only it says that it shall not come near thee, right? That's what you just read in Psalms, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. I want to go back to that point.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, let's read
Zechariah
this.
chapter 14, verse 12.
Yes, sir. Listen.
And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem.
The plague is going to come from that bomb. The plague is going to come from that arrow that flieth by day. I want y'all to pay attention to what I'm bringing out. The plague is going to come from that weapon that the Most High calls them to build. Go ahead.
Their flesh shall consume away.
So this weapon is going to cause this, like it says in Malachi, the day is going to come that's going to feel like an oven. That's that heat. Read that statement. Where you at?
Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet.
So if we're all standing together, because ain't none of us airborne, all of us, our enemies along with us, we're all in this captivity. All of us are standing on this earth together. Y'all feel me? So how is it that when the scriptures say, but it shall not come nigh thee, the destruction shall not come nigh thee, and we're all standing here together? Let's read the effect of what's going to happen if you're still standing here. Read.
Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet.
Everybody that's standing on this earth, when that bomb hit, all of them, their flesh is going to be evaporated off of their bones before their bones react to gravity to be pulled down to the ground. The Bible is describing nuclear war, biblical times, describing the effect, the speed. How long does it take for your skeleton to hit the ground once your flesh is evaporated? Your muscles are gone. Your muscles is the only reason why your skeleton stands. When you stand straight up, your muscles is what keeps your skeleton in erect standing. But once your muscles are gone, your skin is gone, your organ is gone, what's going to cause your skeleton to stand? Nothing. So gravity is going to pull it down. So that meant your muscles are gone, your skin is gone, your organs are gone. It's just the bones, and your bones are going to collapse. Y'all all right? Read that statement. Where you at? Their flesh?
Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet.
While you're still standing, all of your flesh will be off of your bones before gravity has a chance to pull your skeleton to the ground. That's how fast your flesh is going to be gone. What can cause that kind of evaporation? Nuclear war, nuclear destruction in the Bible. That's why the remnant were frightened. That's the reason why we gave glory to the Most High, because we're going to see that. Because we're going to be delivered while that's happening. But it shall not come nigh you. How come it's not going to come nigh you? Because that's when that come up hither is going to take place. That's how that works. Y'all all right? Yes, sir. Some great days ahead, right? We just got to get there. Okay? Read.
And their eyes shall consume away in their holes.
And your eyes, because of that heat, your eyes are going to melt away in your sockets. Go ahead.
And their
tongue. And that's
tongue.
twofold, by the way. It ain't just literally, it's specifying the eyes for a reason, because all of your skin going to be gone. But why is the Lord specifying eyes? Because of your vision, America's vision and our enemy's vision to keep going is going to be shut out that day. So he said, I'm going to specify destroying the eyes, because at that time, everything going to come to a close. That's why he's specifying the eyes, because your lips, everything else going to get burned up. But why is the Lord specifying eyes? Because with your eyes, you have vision of what you're going to continue to do, how you're going to continue to rule over God's people, how you're going to continue to rape, pillage, and do all kind of evil in the earth. The Lord said that's the end of all of that. Read.
And their tongue shall consume away in their mouth.
And why is the Lord specifying the tongue? Because this man's mouth is all over the planet. He talks through his media. He talks through his education. He talks through his TV shows, his radio. That day, all of his speech is going to be done. That's the reason why the Lord is specifying the tongue, because your speech is going to be gone that day. Everything else is going to be evaporated too, but the Lord, again, is specifying the tongue, because he's saying your talk, your vision and your talk is going to be dead that day. Y'all all right? Heavy stuff, ain't it? Read.
And it shall come to pass.
Now, so that's it on that, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, go back to where was that? Psalms.
Psalms chapter 91, verse 5. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night.
So it is not for us to be afraid of the terrorism that our enemies are levying against us. So we're going to learn how to operate in spite and in defiance of that terrorism, because we're going to come up underneath the shadow of the Almighty. That's Psalms 91. Read the first verse.
Verse 1. Lord, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty.
That's our protection. He that dwelleth in the secret place. Wait a minute. How in the world is the Bible is a secret place and you got all these churches? Because these churches ain't teaching you the Bible. The secret place is when you come in here and people be like, yo, I never even knew that Bible was even talking like that. I never heard that before. Damn. What? I'm in the Bible? That's it. The secret place. Go ahead. Shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. That's what it says, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're going to abide under the shadow of God. So that's where our protection is. That's where our hedge is. Y'all all right? And how do we make sure that hedge stays in force? By keeping his commandments. When we begin to veer outside of those commandments, you're moving outside of the hedge of God and destruction is coming towards you. And you're going to be one of those slain along with your enemies. And like I said, I can't think of nothing that's worse than to die with the people that has been terrorizing you all your existence. You're going to get to the end. You're going to get to the end near where your salvation is at the doors, like it says in Matthew. When you see the things, when you see the trees and the fig leaves fall, know that the end is near, even at the doors. We see what's happening. How in the world are you going to fall out of this truth at this time? How are you going to do that? Then you're going to get weak and go back to the world. And you know when your ancestors caught hell, your ancestors was dragged, lynched, burned, castrated, raped, hung, all of that. And you're going to, at the end, when your salvation is right there at the door, you're going to be like, you know what, the hell with all that. I'm going to go inside with the same man that been giving me hell all my existence. That's what 2/3 of our people going in there. Read.
Verse 5. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness.
Nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness. Come on.
Nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday.
Nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. Read on.
1,000 shall fall at thy side.
1,000 people shall fall at thy side. Go ahead.
And 10,000 at thy right hand.
And 10,000 going to fall on your other side. Here, we're still on the ground now. But guess what? When they start falling, you ain't on the ground no more. Go ahead. Here's why. Listen.
But it shall not come nigh thee.
Why shall it not come nigh thee? Because the chariots are going to say, come up hither. That's going to separate you from the destruction of your enemies. Like it says in Wisdom of Solomon 18:7. We've accepted that thing. Give me that real quick. Wisdom of Solomon 18:7. I know I'm running all over the place. You got to hold these things for me. I know you got like the spider web hands right now trying to hold all these precepts. You all right, like him?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
He's so busy he can't even answer me. Huh? You all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18, verse 7.
Come on.
So of thy people was accepted both the salvation of the righteous.
We accept the salvation of the righteous. We accept what the Lord said in Revelation. Come up hither. We accept that. We accept what Christ said, that he is come to redeem us from the hand of our enemies and from all that hate us. We accept that. Go ahead.
And
what else do we accept?
Destruction of the enemies.
And we also accept the destruction of our enemies. We accept that. That's what we read here in Psalms. Read that. Go back to Psalms. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Psalms chapter 91, verse 7. 1,000 shall fall at thy side.
1,000 shall fall at our side. Go ahead.
And 10,000 at thy right hand.
And 10,000 going to fall at your right side. That's a lot of people all around you. Go ahead.
But it shall not come nigh thee.
But when you see this and you notice that all of these people are dying at once and it's not happening to you, aren't you going to be praising the Lord? And the remnant was affrighted and they gave glory to the Father. That's why. Because you're going to see all of that destruction and you ain't even going to have smoke on you. Check that out. That's going to be something, ain't it? All these people dying, heads getting burned up, all types of stuff. And you ain't even going to have the smell of smoke on you. Only with thine eyes. Read on.
Only with thine eyes.
Only with your eyes
shalt thou behold.
Shalt thou behold.
And see the reward of the wicked.
And see the reward of the wicked. We have accepted the salvation of the righteous, and we've also accepted the destruction of the wicked, of our enemies, the wicked. That's Bible. Give me Bible, Bible, Bible. That's Bible right there. Huh? People have been in church all these years and never heard this. This is crazy. Leaving the church with gray hair, like the scriptures talk about, gray hairs have came on him, and he still don't know who he is. Here we are. We learning this Bible now, and this Bible is like coming to us like brand new information. And we 50, 60, 70. Because this is the secret place, and you're not going to learn that up underneath you're up underneath that enemy doctrine called Christianity. Okay, even they lied by putting Christ's name on the doggone demonic doctrine. You think it's about Christ when you tell them about Christianity, and it is no different from white supremacy. 100%, not 99.9 3/4, 100% white supremacy, period. All of it. Run the hell out of there. Y'all all right? Did we finish that? Only
Yes,
with
sir.
thine eyes? Okay. So we got that?
Yes, sir.
All right. So now go back to Ezekiel 37. This is what all of the scriptures that we just read is why we are doing what we're doing in concern of Ezekiel 37. Read that again.
Ezekiel chapter 37, verse
10.
10.
Because the breath of life from God came into us. That's what we read in Revelation. So this is what it caused us. So we're not a hate group. We're not a terroristic organization and all that stuff. We are organized underneath the order of God. We are organized up underneath the direction of God. Go ahead, read.
Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 10. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them.
And the breath that came into the 12 tribes of Israel is what's going to wake us up to the commandments of who we are. And we are no longer dead. We're no longer Negroes. We're no longer dead spirits. We are alive now. Let your light shine. We're alive now. Go ahead.
And
go ahead.
And they lived and stood up upon their feet, an exceeding great army.
An exceeding great army of disciplined, organized, righteous men and women. That's what the Lord is doing for us. Y'all all right? Now, there's going to be some trials along the way, no doubt about it. But as long as we keep our mind in the right spirit, we fix ourselves and we keep on moving. Y'all all right? So these are the things that we have to remember. So now that we got that out of the way, I wanted to explain that because the gathering of the troops, and I wanted to highlight that word troops for a reason. And we'll talk about that word troops as we continue to move. Because like I said, when people hear the word troops, they think about some malicious military that's getting ready to come and do all kinds of heinous crimes and go around terrorizing people and all that. That's not what we're talking about at all. That's not us. We're not a hate group. We're not a terroristic organization. We're not an organization that deals with violence or anything like that at all. We're about the order and the laws and the commandments of God. And our objective is to live at peace with all men. That's our objective. The scriptures say, if it lie within, if it lie, give me that real quick. Because oftentimes this gets read and this other piece doesn't really get lit up. Read that. What is it? Romans 18 and 12 or 12, 18? Right? Something like that?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
A little bit of dyslexia going on here.
Yes, sir. Romans chapter 12, verse 18. If it be possible,
Hold it. If it be what?
If it be possible, as much as lieth in you.
What that part mean? As much as you can. But if somebody's trying to kill your family, huh? The time of peace ain't, no, peace is gone. It's time for me to open up cans of whoop ass on you. You understand? But if I can avoid that, my objective is to live peaceably with all men. Y'all all right? Yes, I just want everybody to understand that. So that's why it says that. Read that whole thing again.
If it be possible, as much as lieth in you,
As much as it lieth within you. Go ahead.
live peaceably with all men.
And it means just that. Our objective is to literally try to live peaceable with everyone. We're not a hate group. We're not a hate group. But I'm not going to stand by and let you rape my fathers. And I'm just going to stand there talking about the blood of Jesus. No, man. If I got two hands, I'm going to try my best to stop that. Y'all all right? Yes, that's common sense. All right? So now that I said that thing, I know I'm making some people nervous. Gathering the troops. Let's start with the give me Zephaniah 2:1. Now I didn't hit my troop scriptures yet, but give me Zephaniah 2:1, because before we can really get into gathering the troops, we have to do something first.
The book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1.
Come on.
Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
Gather together, O nation not desired. So that is, the Lord is not asking us. Okay? Like when I made the point when I was in Mississippi with Captain Gedaliah, and, you know, that terrorism that's going on down there, and them people down there are scared. Because the way Taylorsville, they have a level of terrorism down there that's just unbelievable. And I say that, and I don't really say that as opposed to here or any other place. These kinds of, you know, the way these Edomites be acting, their whole mission is to terrorize all of us. But they literally have it down there because they got a lot of people down there really, I don't know, what's the word? Shook, I guess, a lack of a better word. And so I was making a point. I said that we do have a level of power because we all, you know, we gathered together and all that. I said we got numbers. The problem is we don't have the proper way to organize it. It's not organized. So that's the whole point. Numbers don't really mean anything if there's no order. If you know, without the proper unity. You have the numbers all day long, but if the people are not focused in a particular direction, you can kill 1 million people. You can take 5 people and kill 1 million people one by one because they're not organized. When they killed Rasheem Carter, and we're acting like that death is not connected to us, they'll kill Rasheem Carter today. They'll kill Emmett Till tomorrow. They'll kill Yusuf Hawkins the next day. They'll kill Anthony Bias the next day. They'll go on and on and on, and we just continue to stack the bodies, basically, because we have not attached ourselves to our brother. We understand that it's a collective injury, but why is it that we allow these things to happen and we still don't organize? If we were really serious about what happened to these brothers, we all work, we all make all kinds of money. Billions of, what was it, $1 trillion that we give to the U.S. economy every year in outside spending. You say, you know what? Justice for Rasheem Carter. Justice for Sandra Bland. Justice for Mike Brown. Justice for Trayvon Martin. And Freddie Gray. If we ain't going to get no justice for that, come Christmas, and I'll use that, because we ain't supposed to be celebrating none of them. Well, let me just start with Christmas. Come Thanksgiving, let those turkeys alone. Leave them turkeys be. Don't bother them. Let them stay out there. Don't buy, Let them gobble. Leave them turkeys alone. Don't buy nothing. Let the bunny rabbit go on Easter. Leave that bunny rabbit alone. Come Christmas, leave them trees in the forest. None of that's biblical anyway. But if you was just to do that, you ain't got to really protest anymore. Your dollars don't protest it. All that daggone trillions of dollars that we give away to our enemies for them to turn it around and pass laws to destroy us. Because there's no unity, there's no organization. So the numbers don't mean anything. 5 people can wipe out 1 million if you can kill them one by one. But once that unity comes together, now you got a problem. Make your dollars count for you. Make your dollars count. We ain't spending nothing. That's how you make things happen. People talking about something they don't know what to do. Are you kidding me? We got to come away from the Negro mess. That's what's wrong with us. Where we at?
Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1.
Read.
Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
First of all, let's understand that we are not desired. if we understand that we have a collective understanding about each other, regardless of what background we come from, you can never rise above the status of your people. The general population of our people, that's where all of us are. So what? They got a few brown spots in the cookie that think that we've succeeded to something. When you get in trouble, you done left your whole base alone. You're out there trying to mingle with these people and they laughing at you. No. You can never rise above the status of your people. That's something that we need to always remember. Read that again.
Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
So if we understand that we are a nation that's not desired, that should link us together right there. We need to learn how to work together underneath the God laws, underneath the commandments of God. That's what we need to learn to do. Organize with that knowledge and use the Bible as our frontlets to guide us on how to move. Move as a team, never move alone. That's how we need to do it. That's what the scripture's talking about, unity. The Bible talks about unity in so many ways. He said that the precious ointment and the oil of unity is more precious than the oil that ran down Aaron's beard. That unity is precious. So when the Bible is here talking about us gathering together, read that again, Zephaniah.
Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation not desired.
So we are a nation that's not desired. So we need to come together, organize, learn how to work together, be with each other, prefer one another. That's what we got to learn how to do. That's what the Lord is teaching us. And because of that, that's why our enemies are launching terroristic acts against us. Y'all all right? All right, all right. Was that it on that? Was there more on that? Or that was it?
That's verse 1.
That's verse 1. Read on.
Before the decree bring forth.
So the Lord is telling us that we must gather together. He's not asking. He said, "Come." He says, "Gather yourselves together, O nation not desired." Sometimes we read that and we think that he's just suggesting that. That's not a suggestion. The next verse lets you know that it's not a suggestion. He says, "Do this before what?
Before the decree bring forth."
What is the decree? Destruction. So he's not asking. He says, either you're going to come together in righteousness or I'm going to kill you. So there's no choice there. He says, hey, first he told us that we're not desired. You have every reason in the world to come together up underneath me because I'm your protector. Come under me, gather my saints together. That's what the Lord is saying. We need to gather together up under him. And when we gather together, that's when the Lord said, I got you. And if you don't do this, then I'm going to bring the judgment that's going to kill you because you did not listen. Read.
Before the day pass as the chaff.
Read the second verse again, the whole verse.
Yes, sir. Before the decree bring forth.
Before the destruction come forward. Go ahead. The promise, like he said, the Lord is not slack concerning his promise. Let's get that real quick. 2 Peter. Let's read about the decree. 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. Let's read the decree literally. This is what he's talking about.
2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. The Lord is not slack concerning his promise.
He's not asking. The Lord is not slack concerning his what?
His promise.
His promise is his decree. His promise is his decree. Meaning it's coming down. That's what a promise is. It's not going to slack. Read it again.
The Lord is not slack concerning his promise.
Read.
As some men count slackness.
As some men count slackness, thinking that Zephaniah 2 and 1 is suggestive. We're thinking that we have a choice. Zephaniah 2 and 1 is not a choice, not something that you can elect to do. Read that again. Where you at?
2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9. The Lord is not slack.
Come on, stay with me. You keep going back to the beginning. I want you to pick up where you're reading at.
Yes, sir.
You're throwing me off.
Yes, sir. Concerning his promise, as some men count slackness.
That's what I'm talking about. As some men count slackness. As some men they count what the Most High said. They think it's suggestive. Zephaniah 2 and 1 is not a suggestion. Because some men count Zephaniah 2 and 1 as slack. As some men count slackness. The Most High is not slack with that thing. He's going to bring it. Read.
But is long suffering to usward.
But is long suffering to usward, the 12 tribes of Israel. He's long suffering to usward Go ahead.
Not willing that any should perish.
Not willing that any of us should perish. Why? Because if you listen to me, you won't perish. Because I'm going to bring the day of destruction, but if you gather together up underneath my control, up underneath my order and my commandments, you'll be up underneath the shadow of the wings of the shadow of the Almighty, like he said in Psalms 91. You'll be up under that protection. Read.
But that all should come to repentance.
That's the objective, what the Lord is saying in Zephaniah. Gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. Because he wants us all to come to repentance. Y'all understand that? All right, all praise to the Most High. So now, go back to Zephaniah.
Yes, chapter 2, verse 2.
Yes, sir.
Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you.
Before the fierce anger of the Lord. The fierce anger, you don't want to be playing around with the fierce anger of the Lord. You want to make sure that you are in the commandments. You want to make sure that you are underneath God's order. You don't want to be on the wrong side of God's order. Go ahead.
Before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
That's what we was reading in Peter's. Before the day of the Lord's anger come before us. Go back to Peter's for a minute. There's more in there than I need.
Yes, sir. 2 Peter chapter 3. You on verse 10?
Yes, sir.
Verse 10.
Read the bottom of 9 and 10.
Yes, sir. Bottom of 9. Not willing that any should perish.
Not willing that any of us should perish. Go ahead.
But that all should come to repentance.
But that all of us should come to repentance. Listen.
But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night.
That's the day that Zephaniah was talking about. That day is going to come as a thief in the night. So does it sound like he's asking us? I can't hear you. It sounds like he's very serious about us gathering together. He said because that day will come for real. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, meaning it's going to catch us off guard. As the chaff, like it said. It's going to come as the chaff. Go ahead.
In the which the heavens shall pass away.
The heavens is talking about these kingdoms. These kingdoms are going to pass away.
With a great noise.
Boom. That's what the great noise is. Boom. A blasting, destruction power. And destruction of buildings. Destruction of all. That's the great noise that it's talking about. The nuclear blast when that bomb hits. When Christ comes with them angels. All that's coming at the same time. Read. Like it says, behold, he cometh with clouds. And he coming with the weapons of his indignation. All that's coming at the same time. That's the day of the Lord's anger. Read.
And the elements shall melt with fervent heat.
That's that heat that we was reading about in Zechariah. And the elements, meaning the people's bodies, your enemies, everything going to burn up with fervent heat. But only with thine eyes shall you, the ones that listened, you shall be delivered. And you will see the destruction of your enemies because you're going to be taken up. That's the difference. Y'all all right? Is that it on that verse?
No, sir.
Read.
The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up.
10,000 at thy side, 1,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Go ahead.
That's all I know.
That's it, right? Okay, now. So, with us understanding, like I said, that was explaining the title. Gathering the troops in defiance of terrorism. And we understand that we are a terrorized people, right? There's a reality that we are conscious of, but we all are not willing to act in response to this reality. We know that we have enemies that are setting plots and traps to destroy all of us. We know this. We know this. All of us feel it. We know it. But are we truly ready to organize, to offset these actions of terrorism that is launched and levied against us or leveled against us, right? Are we going to be in the right order of God to offset the advances of the enemy's tricks to destroy the nation of Israel? Like I made a point, one of the brothers on the show last night made a point of bringing up what that Edomite said. He said that the Israelite nation, or what he called us, an Israelite movement or something, try to trivialize it into something of less significance. The Israelite movement or something is a fractured organization. That's what he said. And his objective in saying that was to say that we're going to get your children. We're going to destroy your offspring. So once what they might call the hardliners, the elders and deacons and all that, they said once they die out, the children are all going to be in filth. They're going to be following homo this and lesbian that, following all kinds of, letting all the commandments go. The women going to be back in pants. Men going to be running around in dresses. That's what they're hoping for. Why do you think they're pushing this stuff so hard on these programs, TV and all these different videos and all? They're pushing hard because there's an agenda, and that's terrorism. We just don't understand that. That's an act of terror to destroy your offspring. That's a terrorist act against your progenation. I'm trying to think of the word, like posterity. Thank you. Against your posterity. Your objective is to continue to have family well beyond you. But if somebody is threatening to take your children from you and turn them into something else, that's a threat against your prosperity, against your lineage. That's terrorism. But we have not been educated to understand that. We have to look at the reality of things and see how things are laid out. That is literally laid out to destroy, to remove us out the earth. Okay? So we must organize. We must come together. This is not by choice. We have to do this. If we understand that there are terroristic actions that are conspired, made up, counsel, like the scriptures say in Psalms, they stay up all night coming up with crafty counsel to destroy us. We need to really understand that and really make it the point of really properly organizing and make sure that everything that we do works for our benefit. The hell with everybody else. We need to understand the work for our benefit, and we're going to talk about that thing. I'm moving on in my class. Y'all all right? Yes, sir. So, like I said, the reality that I'm speaking of is the terrorism that we, the 12 tribes of Israel, face every day and every night. We face this, okay? But if we are to survive, and I use that word because many of us thinking that we're living. Living is not the word we've been given. Y'all all right? We're just surviving. Deacon Malachi's class earlier was so heavy. Shout out to Deacon Malachi. That class was on fire. Y'all all right? Give the Lord a hand for that thing, by the way. What I like about his class, he brought out the reality of where we are. He said we are not free. This society continues to want to keep us in slavery, okay, which is terrorism again. We are human beings, correct? We are men and women, correct? We have aspirations where we would like to be able to plan our future. Give me that in Proverbs. What is it? Hope deferred. Give me that real quick. This is whenever you do an act like what we're about to read, that's an act of terrorism. You got it?
Proverbs chapter 13, verse 12.
Yes.
Hope deferred maketh the heart sick.
Maketh the mind sick. If we don't have the mental fortitude or the ability to think beyond where you are, that is a death sentence. You wonder why the people in the quote unquote ghettos are taking drugs and all types of suicidal actions and the behavior is because they see no future. Because their hope that they want to have, that's not in reach. It's not a reality. So they're just here. They're just existing. They're just passing time. That will drive you insane. That's what happened to all of us. That's the cause of that is from an enemy, is an act of terrorism to make you believe that you are not to have any children, no offspring, nothing to precede you, that your generations are going to be cut off. That's the reason why we act as crazy as we act. It's because we don't have that ability to think hundreds of years down the road, 50 years down the road, because we're so uncertain. We're praying to make sure that our children don't even go to jail or get shot dead or whatever. We're working hard just to prevent that. That's terrorism. That's not how we're supposed to be. We are human beings in our spirit. We want prosperity too. Y'all all right? But whenever that's cut off, that's a death sentence in your spirit. Then they give you dope and alcohol on tap to drown out that voice in your mind that's saying, you know something is wrong with your life, don't you? To put you to sleep. That's what church is all about. You're sitting in church is basically a sleeping pill. The churches is basically a sedative, a sleeping pill, just to cause you to relax in captivity. Cause you not to do anything. I'll just wait on the Lord. That's a sleeping pill. Y'all all right? That ain't what the Bible's talking about. Read that again.
Proverbs chapter 13, verse 12. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick.
It maketh the mind sick because you don't have the ability to envision anything beyond your immediate space. That's the reason why any dollar that comes into your mind, you spend it on your pockets. You spend it right away because there's no need for me to save it, to do anything with it years down the road because I might not even be there. So why don't I just spend it on everything now and just try to get, you only live once, let me just have a good time with it now. That's where that psychology comes from. Because we have no ability to aspire to think beyond where we are. That's a death sentence. That's the reason why people feel the psych wards in the prisons and in the streets and all of these things come from this verse, what we're reading right here. Okay, just want y'all to understand that. So, thank you, brothers. So now let me get back to what I was saying. Living is not the word we've been given. This is captivity. That's where we're at. And what Deacon Malachi was bringing out was on point. That was a wake-up call. We were in captivity. This society meant for us to stay in slavery forever. Never meant for us to get out of it. And we all been played a game. Denizens. We don't even know what it's like to be a quote-unquote real free citizen. We don't even know how that feels. We've gotten used to being terrorized. We've actually, the cloak of terrorism, we've gotten used to it. We've put it on like a coat, and we've made terrorism our culture. Hey, put up, because I want to make this point what Deacon Malachi brought up, and I'm going to just show you something. Put up the Emancipation Proclamation. Let me show you that it was a game that was playing on us. You know what? Give me, there's a Bible verse that I want. Deuteronomy 28, and let me look for the verse. The verse, hold on a second. Yeah, we going to get that. Give me a second. Give me a second. It's in Deuteronomy 28 chapter. Just give me 1 second. Deuteronomy 28, verse 33. Right? Yes, read that.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
This is Northern Kingdom mainly. Okay, the Northern Kingdom actually had their own land when they came over here. Lost tribes in the promised lands is about the lands that was given to Northern Kingdom. These lands here, all of this was given to Northern Kingdom. Northern Kingdom had all of this. Gad, Reuben, Simeon. That's Northern Kingdom land. They had cattle. They had land. They had all that. Read that again.
The fruit of thy land.
The fruit of thy land, the trees, all of the things, the rivers, all of that belong to the Northern Kingdom brothers and sisters. The fruit of thy land, come on.
And all thy labors.
And all your labors. Go ahead.
Shall a nation.
All of your work, all of your inventions, everything. That's both kingdoms now. All our inventions, everything that we work for, music, dance, clothing, style, you name it, everything, the inventions, all that was taken from us. Read.
Shall a nation which thou knowest not.
Shall a nation that you don't even know, meaning Esau, because he was going to come over and take all of this from the north. He was going to take this all from Northern Kingdom. Then he was going to bring us over here and enslave us on top of, slave us in our brother's land. Read.
Shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
Shall a nation that thou knowest not eat up. Why? Because we broke the laws of the Most High. We broke his commandments. So we are paying for that judgment. That's a judgment that came on us as a result of disobedience. So that was going to follow us all throughout our generations until we repent. Read.
And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed.
And thou shalt be only oppressed and what?
And crushed always.
It means just like that. We were going to be oppressed and crushed always until the Lord redeem us from the hand of our enemies and from all that hate us. That's what Deacon Malachi was bringing out. Y'all all right? But like when we read in Exodus, where it says, let us deal wisely with them. Give me that real quick, because a trick has been played on us. A trick has been played on us. Let us deal wisely with them. Give them jobs.
Exodus chapter 1, verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them.
Because the Israelites was growing. We was becoming more in number, and the Egyptians, which is the old Pharaoh, you got a new Pharaoh called Esau now. That's why Romans 9, the 9th chapter talks about him. Read that again.
Come on, let us deal wisely.
Let us deal wisely, go ahead.
With them.
With them, because we're multiplying. This truth is growing. Go ahead.
Lest they multiply.
And if we don't do that, they're going to multiply. So dealing wisely with us today is eugenics. Dealing wisely with us is the educational system that's designed to shear off the bright among us, to relegate them to basically the gutter of this society. You feel me? The economic system, you can't get a good thing on a loan or nothing. What the hell do we need a loan for when we own the whole damn planet? The whole country belongs to us. The hell are we getting a loan for? And then they're going to charge you all kinds of rates and mess and talk about something, your credit ain't this and that and the other. Man, I tell you, who the hell want to stay in this damn captivity, man? Read.
And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies.
So how did they deal wisely with us? Let's give them jobs. Let's make them believe that they are part of the American system. Let's make them believe in quote unquote civil rights and all of that, and make them think that they are really a part of this system. When the system depends on our blood to keep, our labor as blood, sweat, and tears is the fuel that keeps this engine called America running. Do you realize that? Literally. You take us out of this country is done. Because I mean, they got to do the work, and they ain't not used to doing the work. They said, that's what we got you niggas for. That's how they speak. That's how they talk. A lot of people don't like when I use that kind of language, but I'm not using the language out of myself. I'm giving you how your enemies actually see you. Okay? Read.
When there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies.
So we got to be wise to make sure that they love us. That's dealing wisely, so that we don't turn against our oppressors. So they deal wisely. We're your friends. We want to march with you. We want to show you that we love you too. We're in your corner as well, and all of that. All of that. How many of them are willing to go into captivity to restore what was taken from us? None of them. You read Revelation 13 and 10, none of them want that. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. Not one of them. Them liberals, none of them want that. But dealing wisely is to make us believe, because that's what church is dealing wisely with us. They use our Bible to brainwash us, lied on it, gave us the Bible in vain, made us think that it was the Bible, and put us all to sleep. That's what happened to us. Read.
And fight against us.
And fight against. They said, we don't need that. We don't need them rising. We don't need them seeking their own. Let them feel like that if they operate on their own, that they are in a hate group. Let them believe that they are on the outside of the general population. Let them feel like they are like we want them to feel like that, like they are ostracized and marginalized. They want us to take on that mentality to make us believe that if we are not rolling with the quote unquote general populace, that we are some freak on the side just trying to exist. No, that's dealing wisely. They want us to be incorporated with that so they can perfectly use us to their benefit. It's to get inside our minds, to set up headquarters in our heads to make us operate in their benefit. Y'all all right? And there's things that have been done throughout the ages to keep us in that mindset. Here's one of them. We just read in the Bible where it says that we will be crushed and oppressed always, right? The enemies know that. What did it take to build this country? Took slavery, didn't it not? Exploitation, it took that. How in the world are you going to get rid of that and expect the same engine to run when that was the fuel that caused it to run in the first place? You change the fuel source of an engine, the engine stops working. You got to tear down the engine completely and rebuild it in order for it to work on a different kind of fuel. Y'all follow me? The fuel that got America to be as powerful as it is was slavery. So they had to say, well, we don't want to keep you in slavery, but what we will do, we'll give you slavery by another name and tell you that it's not slavery, when in fact it is slavery. But it's just dressed up, a euphemism. They make you think, oh, it's not really slavery. And we'll actually think that we're in cahoots with them in terms of prosperity and all of that. And you wonder why people feel the jails, because they feel it in their spirit that this place ain't right for them. They can't quite make it work for them. And the rest of us are fooling ourselves. Now, so the scriptures say what it says, and our enemies know this, and they view us like that. They view us as permanent slaves. How in the world are you going to say slaves are free when we were never slaves by birth? Y'all understand that? We're men. But they said that we're going to free the slaves. You call yourself free, and somebody asks you and say, well, what are you? I'm a free slave. So you're a slave that is now free, but you're still a slave. Look at the trickery on that. Y'all all right? Dealing wisely with them. Let's read it. The Emancipation Proclamation, January the 1st, 1863. The March on Washington was 1963. Okay. So what we're reading here, go ahead, read it.
Yes, sir. January 1st, 1863. President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863.
1863, which was 100 years before I don't want to say the famous March on Washington in 1963. Y'all all right? So that's what they were supposed to be commemorating. All right? We want our rights and all of that, such and such. But this right here says that the emancipation was in 1863. Deacon Malachi was bringing this out, and it was wonderful that he was bringing it out. So I'm extending my credit to him and his team for bringing this information out. All praise to the Lord. 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation. We're free. What's that do? I am free. The hell is this? I think we got. I wanted to get the soundbite, but I think there's some trouble in there, and I ain't gonna play it. That guy was singing that doggone thing, man. I am free. The hell. January 1st, 1863, as the nation approached the third year of the Civil War. So that's in 1863, right? This was Deacon Malachi pointed out, dealing wisely with them. So we believe that we were free. Y'all all right? I'm a citizen. Huh? Jubilee, all that. Give me my next slide. So after that came the 13th Amendment.
December 6th, 1865, passed by Congress on January 31st, 1865, and ratified on December 6th.
Now, let me say, ratified. I ain't going to get into a thing of asking what does ratified mean, but when something is ratified, that means all of the oppositions to make it pass has been exhausted, meaning they went through all of the gauntlets of scrutiny, if you will. Okay, you want to look it up? Let's look it up. Let's see what it says. Read it.
Ratify. Sign or give formal consent to a treaty, contract, or agreement, making it officially valid.
To make it officially valid. That's like to ratify a union contract. You're going through all kinds of steps, like, well, do we want to, we need to change this because we don't like this part of the negotiations. We don't like this, but we want to do this. So you're going through all kinds. That's the gauntlet of scrutiny. You're scrutinizing what management have given to labor, labor management, such and such. You're scrutinizing it, and you're like, you know what, we need to change this. So while all of that's happening, at the end of the deal, when it's ratified, that means you're satisfied with all of what's in it. Ratified means now we're satisfied with what it is. We're ready to make it work. Let's ratify it, and it becomes law. What am I getting at? Between 1863 and put that thing back up there again, the ratification thing. 1865, when 1865 came up, the 13th Amendment that, quote unquote, abolished slavery in the United States. I actually want to find the 13th Amendment document, but wait a minute, we're going to get to that. So it was ratified. During those 2 years of that ratification, remember I was talking about how union contracts, how they're going over, well, take this out, we want to fix this, you're deliberating over the terms of this contract. Y'all all right? That's what they were doing with this document, with the 2 years, because they realized, what are you talking about? We mean to tell me we're going to let this fuel source just go? You mean to tell me we're just going to get rid of the gas that made this country so great with slavery, the cotton and all that? We made billions and billions and billions of dollars. What the hell you mean you're just going to let all the gas go? We need that fuel. But at the same time, we need to deal wisely because they're killing Massa's chickens. They're killing him in his sleep. They're burning down his chicken coops and burning up Massa's home and all that. They're rebellious. So we got to deal wisely with them lest they rise up against us. So we got to deal wisely with them. So let's pretend to let them out of slavery. Well, how are you going to do it? We're going to do it through the Emancipation and Proclamation. All Negroes are free. All slaves are free. You're free, Negro. And we believe that. And that document went down the line. So before they completely ratified it and made it officially valid, they had to discuss the tenets of this document. Well, how could we make them believe that they are free but yet keep them in slavery? Here's how we're going to do it. Give me the actual document now. Give me the actual document, the 13th Amendment. This is how we're going to do it. Section 1, 13th Amendment. This is the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Section 1, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as a punishment for crime. You know what? There's a documentary. Everybody's talking about it. What's the name? Ava DuVernay, something like that.
The 13th.
That documentary, 13. Very good documentary. Check it out. It explains how this whole system works. And convict leasing, that's something else that a lot of us need to look into. All of this right here was this whole document meant we're going to keep slavery up under another name. So when we read that out of the Bible, it says that thou shalt be crushed and oppressed always. This document sealed it up. Now I'm going to make my statement. And again, these are actions of terrorism against us. And how do we operate to offset that? That's what my class is about. Everybody's with me. So neither slavery nor involuntary servitude
except as a punishment for a crime whereof the parties shall have been duly convicted shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction.
Or any place subject to the United States jurisdiction, okay? And then it says Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. So that means that went into law. Y'all all right? Ratified, so you can understand. So now let's read that section again. I'm gonna do something for you. Watch this here. I'm gonna show you how you missed with the document, how most people miss the document to understand what it really means. Read it again.
Section 1, 13th Amendment. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude.
Stop. Nor involuntary servitude. The words after that should be in parentheses. Jump from servitude to where it says shall exist.
Yes,
read from servitude and jump right to shall exist.
Yes, sir. Section 1, 13th Amendment.
Watch
Neither
this.
slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist within the United States.
Boom. That's what the document should say. If we were truly free, that's what the document would actually say. Read it again the way it would actually read if we were free.
Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude.
Involuntary servitude means you don't have a choice. You got to serve. That's slavery. The same word as slavery, just euphemistically written. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, go ahead,
shall exist within the United States.
That means you ain't in slavery no more by document. You follow me? But once they put that clause in the middle of it, what that middle clause say?
Except as a punishment for crime.
If this same engine has engineered criminality to be in our communities, where are we going? To jail. Where are we going? To get booked. Where are we going? We're going to commit crimes. Where are we going? Vagrancy laws. They don't even have a place to stay because you can't afford a place to live at. Vagrant. That's years. Convict leasing. Huh? No money, no food, nothing. Now you're robbing and stealing. Crime. Stealing this, crime. All of those things mean that they can put you in slavery. So once they deliberated over that during the period where they was trying to ratify it, they were discussing this. Deep council. They were having discussions. How do we keep slavery without calling it slavery? Well, I know what I'm going to do, chap. We're going to say that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist only, but if they commit a crime, then we can get what we want. So if you commit a crime, and then they say, read the rest, except what? I'm going to break all this down.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Except as a punishment for crime whereof the parties shall have been duly convicted.
Duly convicted. Duly convicted by who? By a rigged jury that was taught all over the world that we're niggers. So what kind of jury is actually going to say these people should not be put in jail or whatever, when they all been educated that we are guerrillas, that we are wolf pack, that we are a menace to society? You got a jury of 12 Edomites or even black Edomites, black people with white minds, basically. They're sitting up in there on the jury box, and they're looking at you, and they say, yeah, he's a criminal. They say, see that we didn't convict him. Your own people did it. I said, but hell, he's a white man up underneath black skin. Y'all all right? But my point is, the duly convicted comes from the people. The juries have been shaped. They watch television and they get an idea about you before they even meet you. Prejudiced. These are the people that's going to, quote unquote, duly convict you. So what are we talking about? Perpetual slavery under another name. Y'all all right? That's what's happening. So when Deacon Malachi was going over that, he was 100% correct. And if we're in slavery, still to this day, that's terrorism. That's terrorism. So how do we operate in spite of that? How do we operate in spite of that? Thank you, brothers. Thank you. Thank you. We hear of the slogan, by any means necessary, right? You hear that term before, right? I'm still dealing with my opening statement about how we say that we are conscious about our living conditions, but are we really ready to make effective change in proper organizing and being diligent and disciplined in our organizing efforts to make sure that we work together as what God said to do? Come together. Now, I haven't gotten to my troops yet. I'm going to deal with my troops down the line. Y'all all right? But how we ought to come together, how we ought to organize. We know that we should do it, but why is it that we don't do it? Because we're not quite ready to exercise that discipline. But we say that we are ready, but in reality, we're not. That's what my statement was about. I said that we are aware, we are conscious of the reality of how we're being terrorized. We are aware of that, but are we really ready and willing to act in response to that terroristic reality? And when I say act in that terroristic response, reality, I'm not talking about doing anything quote unquote illegal. I'm talking about doing something that God gives us all the power to do. You have the power to know where to direct your dollars. Let me just use it like that. You don't have to spend on Christmas. Let's just start there. You don't have to spend on Thanksgiving. You don't have, I mean, these holidays make billions and billions of dollars, man. Billions of dollars. Here come the, football games, hockey, whatever. Man, we ain't spending nothing. Huh? Put your money to what's going to work for you. We'll talk about that later on, too. You feel me? That's how you get results. When that Korean guy got beat up on the plane, y'all all right? He got beat up. I'd make a joke out of it. He took his glasses off and twisted it while he was being dragged down the aisle. And he said, make sure you film me now. Film me with my glasses all twisted so I can look like I got beat up. Because when my Chinese government get hold of this, they're going to back me up. The country, going to back me up. Next thing you know, what was it? What was the airline? American Airlines, one of them. Apologizing. Probably gave him first-class tickets, him and his whole family, for like 3 years or something. They ain't going to do that with us. Nigga, get off the plane. Probably spit on you as you walking out with your head down. Because they have no respect for us. Because we don't demand it. Like I talked about, just look, like I said, living in Harlem, I had to deal with what I call the nigger window. I talk about the nigger window. Nobody don't know what I'm talking about. I ain't going to go into it. But when the stores close at night, the Arabs that's running the store, they got a daggone window that you can continue to give your money while they go and get the products like milk, bread, or whatever, and they put it in this daggone window for you to get it after you give them the money. Why? Because they will not open the store to allow you to go in and pick your own, and our people are stupid enough to patronize that damn place. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. The first time I actually experienced it, I cursed them people out. I said, well, you know what? Because I was trying to tell the people in the neighborhood. I said, why? Y'all stupid as hell. Why y'all doing this? I would walk or do whatever I had to do just to defy them disrespecting me that way. I'd get in my car and drive all the way back to where I used to work at to go shopping where I can go in there and put my hands on my stuff. Because I have that much dignity and respect. I'm going to let these people debase me like that and make me put my change on the counter. Niggas don't even want to touch my damn hand. Little Arab bastards in there. They don't even want to put your money here and there. And then they go and get my bread. They might give me the thing that's about to mold down, but about to be out. The 1 day left on the milk. You don't know because you're not there to pick over it. And you satisfied with that? That's a defeated mentality. That's in Harlem, New York. I lived on the block, and many of the people on the block used to go in there and patronize that day. I used to curse them out, a lot of them. I said, y'all stupid as hell to be doing this. If they don't want to open their doors to let me come shop, then I ain't buying nothing from you even in the daytime. Hell you doing in my neighborhood anyway? Y'all all right? Where am I at, man? I done got carried away. What am I bringing out? What am I bringing out? By the way, I mentioned that in a couple of classes when I was in. I went into depth with the Negro window when I was in Mississippi. What am I reading about?
The 13th Amendment.
Yes. So I was talking about that. The slaves, right? So I was making a point. Any means necessary. That's what I was talking about. When we hear the term, because that's when it's necessary. It was necessary for me to go all the way back up and drive miles to go get my loaf of bread. It was necessary because it was necessary for my own sanity. Y'all all right? And risk, I'm in New York City now. You move out of your parking space, you ain't got no parking space when you come back. But I needed that milk and bread. So I left it. As soon as I came back, it's blocked up and I'm sitting in the street all night long waiting for, but I was satisfied that I wasn't gonna. Now that might sound crazy and extreme, but I'd rather do that than to allow these people to go in there and get me what they want to give me. No, necessary. Your self-respect, your dignity. That's what you got to do. So by any means necessary, by any means necessary, we talk about that. We hear that slogan, by any means necessary. Well, what does that actually mean? The emphasis is not necessarily on the word means, but it's more on necessary. Yo, we all hear that slogan, right? Malcolm X, by any means necessary, right? Y'all all right? Well, if it's not necessary, then you shouldn't do it. But if it is necessary, then you must do it. And that's the point. If there's something if your brother's getting killed and you don't want to see them continually to get killed the way they're getting killed, then it's necessary that we organize to offset this. Y'all feel me? It's necessary. And the means that I will use, hopefully it will be quote unquote civilized means. Somebody might consider boycotting as civil disobedience. Perhaps we'll go that route to see if it will get the results that I want to get. And if it works, then by all means, we'll do that. Y'all feel me? By any means necessary. We'll try those means first. Here comes Christmas. None of the 12 tribes of Israel shall spend a dime. Oh, man, the point to get across quickly. Just on that alone. They say, well, hell, they might do this damn thing on what's the next wicked holiday? The first New Year's, January, Times Square is empty with black folks. Huh? Valentine's Day, nothing. Shoot. Me and Honey Bun will go sit at home. Spend nothing. I mean, when something is necessary, these are the things that you will do. Because you know that you're looking for a particular result. They'll be like, what the hell happened to our slaves? You know they're going to revolt. You know that. We'd be ready for it. But I'd rather go through that than to allow for this continual terrorism to continue to kill our people off. And then we come together and we call ourselves protesting, rah, rah, rah. And then when the protest is over, we go right back to the same foolishness that will guarantee the next brother to be chased and hung. Because we're not serious, because it's not necessary. Y'all all right? So like I said, the emphasis is not necessarily on the word means, but rather on the word necessary. If it's necessary, then you must do it. If it's not necessary, then you shouldn't do it. If it's not necessary, then there's no need to do it. But if it's necessary, you must do it. It was necessary for me to drive all the miles to go get what I needed to get. It was necessary for me to do that. And that's the point. Y'all all right? My video, Earl Grant. What time is it? Earl Grant. Now, I want to talk about something because I'm going to read something out of a book. I don't think it's ever been read out here before, but I've been talking about this for years now. And I've been looking for this book that this brother's going to mention. I called some people that I knew who was in the Navy and asked them about this, and they were unaware of it. So I continued to look around, and then some brothers answered the call. Shout out to Captain Gideon. He reached out and he said, you know what, Bishop, I found what you want. Boom. So here we go. But I want to let you hear the discourse of what these brothers are talking about, and this is all going to reflect back to what I was talking about when it comes to us being awake to the reality of being terrorized, even though he's not going to use the word terrorized, but in the condition that we're living in, this is a terrorized condition. And we as men must understand that. We as men must organize the whole nation to teach them to properly use all their resources to work for our benefit. Y'all all right? Our benefit, meaning the nation's benefit. Because it's not only for me personally, it's for your sons and daughters. It's for your husbands and your wives. It's for your children. Because I can't get nowhere if you ain't getting nowhere. Our status don't go nowhere if your status don't go nowhere. I can't even believe I'm even saying that because I don't consider myself any different from the rest of my brothers or the rest of my sisters. That's not even the way I even think. I'm in the pot with you. You in the pot with me. We're in the pot together. And we need to learn how to organize and work together. Y'all all right? Sisters, y'all all right? All right. Now, play my clip. Y'all got my time frame, right? I want y'all to listen to this. Now, let me explain what y'all looking at. For those of you that don't know, the two men that you're about to see on the screen, these are the men that were Malcolm X's bodyguards before he got killed, before he got murdered, basically. And they tried to do everything they could to keep him alive because they knew his life was in danger. So this is Earl Grant, and the other one is Robert Higgins. Robert Higgins worked for, I think it was the Amsterdam News, one of those news. I know about the Amsterdam News. I remember that place when I was in New York. And Amsterdam News has been around for a very long time, black newspaper. So he was the photographer, and he worked there. And Earl Grant was in the military, and he had all the strange training and all kinds. He was a great researcher, and knew a lot of things when it comes to electronics and all of that. So these two men worked for Malcolm. And when they went to work for Malcolm, they went to protect him because they knew that what he was bringing out, because that's what was big back then. The Israelites wasn't big during that time. So their thing was to stand behind a man that was really about making real change. So they were very impressed with Malcolm. So this is what this brother had to say in response to the generation that they were all trying to influence. Malcolm and all these men back then during this time, trying to influence these brothers and sisters to pull their pants up, basically, and become real men and real women. So that's basically where these men are coming from. All right, play it. Okay.
Sentiments. I think that the reason why I decided to come here now is because it's time. You see, young black people out there are looking for leadership. They're looking for motivation, some kind of inspiration. And it's up to us to provide that for them, to let them know that the only solution to the black problem is not to force yourself on somebody else, to stop begging and knocking at the door and chasing white people all over the globe. It's time to stop and reassess your own values as a human being, and to set proper goals, to learn organization, to learn research techniques, to look at organizations, to organize to solve your own problems. Is there some way in which, in understanding his life and death, it'll be of help to us today?
What they have to understand, well, Americans, people in this country in general, are known for not knowing very much about the past. They have to understand, especially this young generation, that a lot of these people with their MBAs and their sports cars and their corporate vice presidents.
Pause it. Did you hear what he's saying? Are y'all focusing on what he's saying? He said, with our people in his time, he said they're focused on their MBAs, their sports cars, and then this and that, and they think they've made it. Y'all hearing? Y'all listening? Go on.
Is they have to know that they're not there just because of the way they wear their clothes or the way they part their hair. That somebody paved the way for them to get there, and that they owe some debts, and that they have a responsibility to history to do something else other than just check cashers.
Pause it. Our people got to become more elevated than just simply being check cashers every week. We need to understand that whatever progress, that's the reason why you won't hear me speak evil of the leaders before us. I'm talking about civil rights leaders and all of that. You understand? Because a lot of times, they didn't have they didn't know this Bible. And they, with what the little that they had enough serious conviction to put their lives on the line. You will not hear me speak evil about those kinds of men or any of those kind of people. Not at all. You understand? So we need to understand that the Lord puts people in places for a reason. And, like Martin Luther King broke down a lot of doors so that this truth can be taught on the streets like that. A lot of this stuff goes over people's head. But we need to understand that we're not an island by ourselves. We stand on the shoulders of our brothers, on the shoulders of our sisters. Y'all feel me? Y'all understand what I'm saying? So by me saying this, we need to have enough respect and pay attention to history. Pay attention to the people that helped pave the way, as we would say. That's what he's bringing up. And we have gotten comfortable with not paying attention to any of that. A lot of Israelite groups fit in this category. Wicked as hell. Wicked as hell. Go ahead. Play on.
Every week. They have a role to play. They have a people to serve. And unless they do that, as George Santayana said, people who don't understand the lessons of history are doomed to repeat them. And there were a group of people in Europe a few years ago who thought they were just other Germans. They thought they were super Germans. Unfortunately for them, that wasn't so. And you've got a lot of people.
The point is coming.
A lot of our younger people coming out of these schools and going into these corporations, they think they're just another corporate figure. Well, that's not so. No way. That's not so. They're only there because somebody paved the way, and like those kids down in the South, that church that was blown up. They were like preachers down there, were trying to get people to register to vote, that were killed. Dr. King being killed.
This is the reason, pause it for a second. You know, as I hear this brother speak, this is the reason why children have to respect their parents. The reason why children even get to become grown is because parents paved the way. Your behind couldn't do nothing when you was a baby. They could have just left you on the doorstep and your dumb behind would have been dead. Parents had to come in and make sure that you was able to grow up, clothes on your back, place to live, food, shelter, all of that. Troubles of education, all of that. Then you're going to get older and you're going to get disrespectful. Don't make no damn sense. Y'all hear me? This is crazy. But this is what this kind of mentality is out here. We got to fight against all of that. Go ahead, play on.
Medgar Evers. All this younger generation need to have.
He mentioned in the different people that sacrifice for a little something that we get today. Y'all all right? I'm thinking about like Dr. Martin Luther King, I remember in the old school, and the real One West, let me say it that way. These damn fake-ass groups coming out here now talking about that they're part of the old school with a nigger mentality. No. The elders back in the old school would say something like, I don't want to hear any of y'all, this was my shot, he would say, I don't want to hear any of you men speaking evil about Martin Luther King, because that man believed in what he did, and he knew that death was coming, and he died, knowing that he was going to get killed. He said, how many of y'all are willing to do that? Think about that. He gave that speech on, April 1965, April 3rd. The speech that got him killed. And he said that I'm not fearing any man. He knew death was coming. Are y'all listening to me? He was saying that. And the very next day they killed him. April 4th. Look it up. The speech was on the 3rd, the 4th is when they killed him. And he said, he said there's a lot of difficult days ahead. He would start his speech off like that. He said that some began to talk about the threats that was out on what might happen to me. He said, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. That's what he was saying. Because he was talking about, he was speaking about the war in Vietnam, how the monies that was supposed to be used to help black people was being spent in a war that America lost. And he said it's being wasted. And basically the people said, listen, we got tapes on you. We're going to send it to your wife about your indiscretions and all of that. He said, I don't care. You do what you got to do. But I'm going to be a drum major for justice anyway. And said, well, this nigga ain't listening to nothing. And they killed him. And he knew that death was coming. He said, I'm not fearing any man. He said, like anybody, I would like to live. Listen to that, man. Can you hear that? Like any man, I would like to live. Longevity has its place, he said. Then you're going to get these new niggas that's going to speak against him. Shut your damn black lips. You ain't got the courage to even do anything close to that. So Nahshon would say, don't speak against that thing. So we always respected people that was serious about trying to do anything for their people. Whether it's Panthers, anybody that was serious about making real change, we're for that. You hear me? All right. So now I see the brothers put the speech up there. That's all right. Y'all can look it up on your own. Let me get back to my lesson. Where am I at? What was I saying? Oh, the video. Come back to the video. Listen up, because I'm about to get to my points. Eliakim, you ready? We're going to do some reading now. Play on. Listen. So everybody's with me in terms of what this brother is saying, right? Earl Grant? And he's saying that we have to be mindful of those that paved the way and all of that, and stop being check cashers and acting like we don't have nothing to worry about. Or just carefree attitude with your NBA and your sports cards, and you think you made it. Now listen up. Play on.
It burned into their brain how they got where they are, and that the road was not easy, and that they are not in heaven. That's one of their main problems. They think they're in heaven now, but they're not. They're still here. They got a long ways to go, and there's this book entitled The Choice. There's an article in there where he talks about a study in 1970 by the U.S. Navy. What would be the attitude of white people in this country if black folks were beginning to be systematically suppressed like the Jews in Germany? And the study pointed out that most white people wouldn't care.
Damn.
I mean, that's a horrifying thought for me. I mean, really, really disturbing that anybody would even think to conduct a study like that in this country is scary. But that was the conclusion of it. If they started rounding up black folks and started making them disappear from the city, most people wouldn't care. They wouldn't care. That's what the study said, that they wouldn't care.
Stop. There you go. All praises. The brother played it just the way I needed it to cut. He said for anyone to even conduct a study like that, think about what would make you even look back at a people and say, you know what, I wonder if we did a study. If we started rounding up black people and just started exterminating them, let's do a survey to see how many people would even care. Something got to be seriously wrong with us for somebody to even think to even do a study like that. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? So we talk about reality. Our reality is we're so out of touch with reality. Other people knowing our reality know how effed up we are, and we're just happy to be check cashers. And then somebody stood back and said, you know what? Look how these Negroes are. They ain't worth nothing, such and such, we destroyed them. That's how they talk. They ain't worth anything. We can shoot them down, rape them, lynch them, do all kind of stuff, and they still love us. These people just ain't worth. That's their conversations about us. And we acting like we don't care. And then somebody said, well, you know what? Let's do a study. Let's take a survey and ask, who would even care if these people got wiped off? And most people wouldn't even care. That's what the study said. Now, when I heard him say this on the video, I said, I got to find that. I thought it was an article. I went for like years chasing this information, trying to find out what was the source of this statement. I found it. It's in the book called The Choice. Y'all all right? We're about to read it. Come on, Eliakim. Now, let's open up the pages, put it on the book. This is where he got it from. Show that. This is the book.
The Choice.
Captain Gideon, he heard me ask about it, and he went and found it. He said, you know what? I got 2 of them. Compliments. Here you go, Bishop. Boom. So here we go. Y'all all right? This is the book that the brother was talking about. Listen to what's in this book. Now, why am I bringing this out? Because it shows you the sentiments of how your enemies feel about you, about us. Give me Micah 4 and, is it Micah 4 and 11? 4 and 10. Remember, 4 and 10 and 11. I need both of those. 4 and 10. Micah chapter 4, verse 10. Throw the scripture in, and then we're going to do some reading.
The book of Micah.
How much? Hey, keep me up with the time. I know I can go to what? 5:30? That's my cutoff? Okay, I'm going to make sure that's yes, I got to do a part 2. Y'all all right? I got too much information here. But it's all right. We're going to be good. Come on.
Micah chapter 4, verse 10.
And I'm looking to do part 2 next week. I'm going to work something out with other bishops and see what's up. But I do want to get more into this thing, Lord willing. Come on.
Micah chapter 4, verse 10.
Yes.
Be in pain and labor to bring forth.
This is what we have to do, come to the reality. It's going to take some pain for us to come out of the comfort zone of stupidity. It's going to take some pain to face reality and accept reality, to understand that we are in our enemy's land, that we are a terrorized people, that we must pay attention to our surroundings. We must pay attention to our nation. We must organize because we have many nations that hate us. Read.
O daughter of Zion.
The 12 tribes of Israel. Read on.
Like a woman in travail.
That's how much pain we got to be in, like a woman that's having a baby. So this is not going to be a comfort zone. It's going to take some real work to work this organization, this organizing. Go ahead.
For now shalt thou go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field.
Read.
And thou shalt go even to Babylon. There shalt thou be delivered.
So we're going to be delivered. We were not delivered out of ancient Babylon. So this is talking about where we're at now. We were not delivered out of ancient Babylon. We went into captivity under Persia. So that when we get delivered out of this Babylon, we ain't going into no more captivity ever again. So this is what it's talking about. We shall go to Babylon and be delivered. Read.
There the Lord shall redeem thee from the hand of thine enemies.
And you see that? There the Lord will redeem us from the hand of our enemies and all that hate us. Go ahead.
Now also many nations are gathered against thee.
Now, so right after that, the Lord wants to let us know what is our relationship to the people that's around us. And this is something that we need to really remember. Oftentimes, we come up in this society not knowing who we are. We're basically like children in a foreign country that don't understand how to read the language, the signs, the sign that said the bridge is out. We can't read the language, and we end up driving right into a ditch because we don't understand what's all around us. We're like children in a foreign country that can't read the signs. That's how we are in this country here, blind, lost. We don't understand that many nations hate our guts. And they're playing with our intelligence, playing with us, toying with us. Read that statement again, 11.
Now also many nations are gathered against thee.
Many nations are gathered against thee, against us. So if they're gathered together against us, how are they dealing wisely with us? By causing us to think that we are their friends and they're our friends. Don't worry, here's your MBA, here's your sports car, here's your corporate keys, Kappa, all that. Kappa, Phi, Sigma, all that. You think you rolling somewhere. You think you in bed with them. You think you rolling with them, and they hate all our guts. If they hate your children, they hate you. If they hate your father, they hate you. How in the world, here they go talk about something, I love the black woman, but you hate her father that produced her. What kind of foolishness is that? No. If you hate one member of my nation, you hate my whole nation because I come from my nation. So that's what's happening. So many nations are gathered together against thee. So we don't understand our relationship to the people around us. We don't understand what we really mean to them. So when I was making a point going back to the book, when the nations was asked the survey, how do you feel if we was to round all of them, and they put emphasis on them, I'm saying that, put emphasis on them, if we rounded them all up and exterminated them, how many of y'all would feel bad about it? And people barely shrugged their shoulders. Like we don't even care. And the brother said, just for them to even think to even do a study like that shows you how low down we are. Shows you where we are in terms of the scale of respect for the other nations, the way we deal with each other. Look how we deal with each other. We will attack each other, but won't even think to break breath against a real enemy. Cowards. We won't even think to do anything against anybody else, but when it comes to us, we will slaughter each other like it's absolutely nothing. Think about that. That's how we are. And the nations just watch us. Like I just say often, black man will be walking in Harlem. He get out of a cab, he's lost. Nobody's trying to help him or nothing. Next thing, they're trying to rob him. Sometimes they try to rob him. Say, that nigga don't look like he from here. Run them pockets, G. Y'all all right? Rob him or whatever. Let a white man get out of a taxi cab and looking all lost and he don't know nothing. Here come black men and black women. You need help, sir? You need help? You need help? Let me help you. I've seen this. I've seen this with my own damn black eyes. I've seen this. That's because he's valuable. You niggas ain't nothing. That's how we deal with each other. But when the nations refer to us, they refer to us as if we're nothing. And we don't understand that relationship. Y'all all right? So that's why that study came up. Nobody cares about this nation of Israel. That's the reason why it says, "O nation not desired." It means just that. We're not desired. But we need to accept that reality and not to feel bad about it, because being not desired by your enemies is nothing. But I'm desired by God. That's where your glory should be. I don't know. I don't want to be glorified by God. I want to be glorified by the white man and the nations. You stupid. I want to be glorified and relished and loved by God. You hear me? That's where I get my happiness from. You worrying about being loved by your enemies. Are you crazy? No. So the choice was the book, and the article that's in here was dealing with, look at the subtitle. Hey, jump down. Look at this here.
The choice. The issue of black survival in America.
Of black survival in America by Samuel F. Yecht. And
what
it say? Go ahead.
The black man is obsolete in today's white America.
Damn. The black man is obsolete. That's what that study was about. Obsolete meaning of no use. Like I said, the white man said that you are obsolete farm machinery. That's how they feel about us. If we're not working for their benefit, we have no use for them. That's how they think. But we will take what they think about us and we will internalize that, and we will start to feel bad because of what they said. And you're crazy as hell if you think that way. The Lord said that you are better than everybody on the planet, but that's not good enough for you. You don't recognize where the source, where the information is at. The Most High said, "For thou art a holy people unto me." That's what he said. He said, "And I have set you above everybody." That's what the Lord said. He said that. And it's in the greatest book ever. And it's got your history in it, and you know nothing about it because you got your head up the anus of the white folks. Worrying about a sports car and an NBA and think that's what it's all about. Meanwhile, your whole nation is hated. And this is the way they think. Even to this day, what's written in this book? The book was written in the 70s. The same issue still exists today. Rasheem Carter was just killed just a few months ago. Murdered a few months ago. What kind of hatred did it take to separate a man's spine out of his back? Well, his mother is still, it's like the fourth set of remains that she's finding on her son. That's reopening her wounds every time she hears this. The first set of remains, her wounds is reopened again. Then some time passed, then they find another set of remains. The same, it's like ripping the Band-Aid off, and it's the pain is right back again. This is the fourth damn time. And she still can't get no damn answers. For you to do, they don't do that to anybody else. They do that to us because they deem us as nothing. That's the reality. So when are we going to deal with each other like we're something? What happened to my brother Rasheem could have happened to me, because that is me. What happened to my sister, Sandra Bland, that's me. What happened to Emmett Till, that's me. What happened to Phileo Castillo, that's me. What happened to Anthony Bias, that's me. That's how you got to feel. That's how you got to be. Whenever we get to do that, then stuff like this here will change. They say, well, these people really do respect themselves. But that's not the mentality of what we're dealing with today. And that's the reason why this article was written in this book. And that's the reason why the reality persists the way it persists. Let's go inside the book. The black man is obsolete in America. Wow.
The authors acknowledge that while the study was ordered by a military organization.
So this study of what the man just spoke about in the film, listen good.
The U.S. Navy, its applications were clearly broader than traditional military needs and carried broadest implications for the society in general.
Go ahead.
This is how the researchers explained it to the Navy.
Read.
The research reported in this paper is an initial attempt to isolate the components of the value of life concept.
So the value of life, are these black people's lives valuable? We don't even deem our own lives valuable. So they wanted to have a study to see if others deem our lives valuable. Go ahead. A naval experiment. Wow. Go ahead.
If such a concept can be identified, and if the components of the concept appear to be stable, then one might expect some important interpersonal differences in decision-making by military personnel under constraints of complex situational requirements. However, value of life is not only relevant to military settings. Several writers have in the last months and years been concerned with life and death.
Point where is that? Okay, read it again. I'm sorry, something popped up on my screen.
Yes, sir.
Read it again.
Several writers have in the last months and years been concerned with life and death, particularly with the future life of the human species on this planet.
Right, or meaning all people at this point. Go ahead.
Probably the most vocal has been Paul Ehrlich, 1968, 1969.
Go ahead.
Who proposes that life as we know it might be destroyed by the population bomb.
So, by overcrowding. Now, I got another article that's going to talk about that, on how their concern is about overcrowding. It's too many of you, it's too many people on earth. That's how they talk. They say that they need to bring eugenics. That's what they're talking about. We need to curb the population. What they're really talking about is getting rid of you and me. That's what they're really talking about. With these man-made diseases and all this, that's what it's about. Abortions and all of that is designed to kill us. Read.
By overcrowding and the polluting and destructive side effects of overcrowding. Others have made...
And the side effects of overcrowding. So now the people are, well, we've got to worry about being overcrowded. Who are they looking at? They ain't looking at white folks. They said overcrowding, there's too many niggers. That's what they're saying. Go ahead.
Others have made similar predictions.
They talk about Northern Kingdom. Too many of them damn Puerto Ricans having babies. Too many of them Mexicans, damn it. Jasper, get the truck. Go ahead.
Based on related evidence. For instance, J. Bonner, 1967, has suggested that if current trends are continued, the haves will...
Hold it. Go read that again.
Yes, sir. For instance, J. Bonner, 1967.
So, for instance, in terms of everything that we're reading, here's an example of what he means. He said, for instance, what?
J. Bonner, 1967, has suggested that if current trends are continued,
that if current trends meaning of babies being born, listen good. If they continue unabated, that's literally the language. Pause it right there. Go to my other article. Because the same language is in something that's much newer than this. We're coming back to this. Remember this point here. Y'all all right? Terrorism, brothers and sisters. Showed it on the screen.
Time. Special issue.
Hold it. Slow down.
Yes, sir.
Time magazine. This is not comic books. Y'all all right? Everybody reads Time. Can y'all dig it? I had this magazine since 1992. Y'all all right? There's an article in here that talks about what we just read in the book. So, but the special issue, Time magazine beyond the year 2000. What to expect at the bottom part. What to expect
in the new
millennium. Now, let's go inside the magazine and let's see what it says. We're going back to my article now. Page before that, not this, the page, that one right there. Look at the name of the article. Look at the name of the article. Too many people. Are they talking about white folks? No. They're talking about you and me. Too many people. I can imagine black people are feeling real sad right now. The white man don't want us. Because some of us got fantasies on just being in love with him. Read that. Zoom in. I'll just read that talk. I ain't going to read all this just yet. because I'm going back to my other part, but because we're coming back to this here. Listen to what it says here, because this is exactly what we just read. And this was in 1992. The other article was in the 60s. What did it say? Too many people. If the environment is already threatened by what?
By overpopulation.
By overpopulation. How in the hell is it threatened by overpopulation? Because what we read in Exodus, what did it say? They might, I'll go back to Exodus.
Exodus chapter 1.
You didn't read the verse was before the one you just read.
Yes, sir.
The
verse 9.
Listen.
Exodus chapter 1, verse 9. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
Are y'all hearing this? Go ahead.
Come on. Let us deal wisely with them.
So what was one of the things that the Pharaoh did? Tried to kill off our babies, which is exactly what's happening now. Trying to stop a deliverer. Trying to stop you black kings. The most dangerous place for a black child is in the womb of a black woman. They got that as a meme posted somewhere because they have gotten inside her head so well, they have done so wisely with her that she has agreed to murder over 19 million black babies between 1973, which is after the article that we was reading, up until just a couple of years ago. 19 million of our babies are extinguished. That's because of too many people. Christianity ain't going to tell you none of that. Y'all all right? Go back to my article. No, finish reading that scripture.
Come on. Let us deal wisely with them.
Let us deal wisely with them. Let us pretend that we're your friends, that we're friends. You're not in slavery anymore. You can get an MBA. You can get a sports car. You're still in slavery. But we don't want to tell them that. We're your friend. Well, sister, where's your man? Oh, we had to get him out of the house so we can get more welfare money. That ain't no friend. Read.
Lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies.
So the threat is to cut off our numbers, to kill us off, to kill us off. Y'all see that? That's in the Bible. And they wanted the midwives to extinguish the boys. And the sisters said, hell no. Them the kind of sisters we need. Y'all all right? Shifra and poor. Righteous women. Can y'all dig it? So now, let's go back to this article here. Thank you, brothers.
Too many people. If the environment is already threatened by overpopulation.
So they'll suggest that to make you think that it is overpopulated. Here goes some black folks. Yeah, I think it's overpopulated. Here goes a Negro talking about some too many Mexicans in this country. You stupid, shut the hell up. Huh? Too many this, too many that. Nigga, shut up. Read.
What would the world be like with twice as many inhabitants?
What would the world be like with too many inhabitants? What kind of inhabitants are they worried about? You black folks. And I'm a proof of my statement with what I've seen with my own eyes. Working in a hospital, I've seen where they have fertilization clinics that only mainly white folks go to. Y'all hear me? In vitro fertilization. It was an office that was offset. Well, most of the white folks go because a lot of them was having trouble trying to have babies. And whenever they do have a baby, and don't let them have twins, oh, Lord have mercy, they tear up the daggone waiting room. Oh, Lord, going crazy because they love it. Oh, have them, you know, if they can have twins, quadruple, man, they go nuts. Same building, black people coming in. Don't let that nigga in come in and this and that and the other. The father of the baby, they won't even let him in. They ain't welcoming a child when the child is born. None of that. When the white kids are born, there's a jubilee going on right behind me. They're going crazy. Cartwheels, balloons, the whole deal. They flipping and going crazy. When two white kids are born. But when it's us, there's sad faces. Damn, you pregnant again? One dude came in with his girlfriend, with his simple bubblehead girlfriend. They come up, and he says, yo, take me to he said, tell me how to get to the part where they give you the pill to kill the baby. Ephraim came and said that. Take me to the part, he said, show me how to get to the part of the hospital where they give you the pill to kill the baby. That's exactly how he said it. I wanted to snatch his teeth out. You coming in here speaking that kind of language. But that's the difference in mentality. Babies is born, the black babies, Hispanic babies, born into a world that don't even want them. The white babies, all kind of people coming and celebrating and all types of stuff. That's the difference. So when they say too many people, they want more of their people, but they want us gone. That's the point. So they ain't talking about some too many people because of everybody, too many people because of us. Y'all all right? Let's read. Let's read this thing. I ain't even get to my part yet.
The state of the environment in the latter part of the next century will be determined largely by one factor: human population.
Human population. Come on.
If the species doubles its numbers by 2050.
He said if the species, here they're being slick. Meaning if black people, black and Hispanic people, that's what they're, what do you think immigration laws and all that Proposition 42, all that stuff they talk about is all because of you and me. They ain't worrying about white folks. They're trying to get as many babies as they can. Go ahead.
If the species doubles its numbers by 2050 to nearly 11 billion, humanity may
11 billion Israelites. That's what they're worried about. We don't want that. And notice what it said here in the subtitle. It says, "It's twice as many inhabitants." What did it say after that?
You wouldn't want to be there.
You wouldn't want to be there. So that's, ooh. So that means everybody got on their mind, we have to find ways to reduce population. What was that white dude, what's his name, Bill Gates?
Bill Gates.
He talked about that right there in the open. He said if we do such and such, we can reduce the human population by such and such. Y'all see that film? What you think he was? He was not talking about his own people. He was talking about you and me. Terrorism. Terrorism. Read.
Such unabated expansion.
This is the part that I want to get to that parallels what we were just reading. Such what?
Such unabated expansion in our numbers.
Such unabated expansion. In other words, no eugenics. Let's put the right words on it. Without eugenics, we risk this. Unabated expansion, meaning unabated meaning we let the expansion continue. The expansion meaning you having babies. So we don't want to unabate that. We want to stop that. Unabated means to leave it alone. Let them continue having babies. He said if we continue to let them go unabated and their expansion continue, our numbers would continue to soak up the world's capital and what it say?
Prevent the poorer nations from making the necessary investments.
Prevent the poorer nations. See, that's lies. Like they really care about the poor nations. If you really care about the poor nation, all you got to do is get out of there. Just get out of there. But that's not what it's about. It's all slick talk. Y'all all right? But the objective is to kill off the people. That's what they say. If we continue to allow the expansions to continue, we would not want to be there with twice as many inhabitants. They're talking about you and me. So the question has always been about bringing your numbers down, 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 just like Pharaoh. Because this is a new Pharaoh. This is Time magazine. Y'all all right? Now let's go back to the other one. Finish reading that thing there. I'm sorry. Finish reading that because I cut it off.
Such unabated expansion in our numbers would continue to soak up the world's capital and prevent the poorer nations from making the necessary investments in technological development that might deter continued population growth.
So they have a challenge. They said, well, how can we do this? Jump down to the highlighted part because my time is running out. Jump down to where I got the green part. Listen good. Watch this here.
The only event in which the earth would achieve zero population growth or even shrinkage would be some environmental or social catastrophe.
What do you think that means? COVID-19. There you go. All them damn diseases. That's what it's talking about. So they came up with that. So this right here is the fruition of what we was reading in that other book. Go back to that other book. Terrorism. Go back to the other book. Plandemics. That's right. Plandemics. Let's go back to where we was reading. That same point that we was holding, Lakim.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna make my point so it will make sense when I do my part too. Find the part that I was at.
Yes, sir. Probably the most vocal has been Paul Ehrlich, 1968-1969, who proposes that life as we know it might be destroyed by the population bomb by overcrowding.
In other words, unabated expansion, population bomb, baby boom. Meaning of us. Go ahead.
And the polluting and destructive side effects of overcrowding.
And the destructive side effects of too many Israelites. Let's put the right words in there. Go ahead.
Others have made similar predictions based on related evidence. For instance, J. Bonner, 1967, has suggested that if current trends are continued, the haves will eventually exterminate the have-nots.
The haves? They said what? Whoa. The what?
The haves will eventually exterminate the have-nots.
Go ahead.
So that the haves can benefit even more. H.J. Muller, 1970, points out a number of effects of overdevelopment in the nations of the haves that will destroy the good life, acceptable human values, and human nature as we now know it.
Go to the next page. He suggested, I see,
Yes,
read
sir.
this. Similarly,
research conducted in October 1968.
This is over the same subject about too many people. Listen, this is going into what the brother was talking about on the show, with the Gil Noble, like it is. Read.
Similarly, research conducted in October 1968, consisting of 1,176 interviews with a representative national sample of adult Americans.
So 1,176 interviews. Go ahead.
Revealed that only 18% of the American public would protest, even nonviolently.
So wait a minute. 18% of all of the American people that they interviewed would only protest now. In other words, just yell. They wouldn't even throw a chair or nothing. They would just yell. Please don't exterminate them. That's it. 18%. When the Bible says that we are not desired, it means that. So that's the more reason for us to come together. Read.
Revealed that only 18% of the American public would protest, even nonviolently, mass repression of American blacks.
Did you see that? They wouldn't even give a damn if we was massively repressed. Did y'all see that? Go ahead.
An even smaller number, only 9%, would resist with necessary violence the official mass repression of black Americans.
Official mass repression, meaning if it was straight up slavery, genocide, and if they just went out to wipe us out with tanks and all that, only 9% might do something. Y'all see this here? This is what the brother was talking about. He said, with this kind of information out here, how in the world could we be acting like this reality is not around us? When we experience hatred incidents month after month, Rasheem Carter one day, George Floyd the next day, Sandra Bland another day, what the hell is wrong with us? We're in a damn stupor. We're in a stupor. So there's more here. I'm going to bring this out next week, Lord willing. I'm going to come back to this. I got to get my scripture of what this whole class was about. Give me, because I'm going to go back through all of this again, but I want to read the scripture to illuminate the title of the class. Micah chapter 5.
Yes, sir.
Micah chapter 5. You probably already knew where I was going, right? Micah chapter 5. Because the Bible says for us to come together like we read, but even in our coming together, like Zephaniah 2:1 said, that's not deeper than gathering ourselves in troops. Troops represent departments. Troops represent groups. Troops represent battalions, where we organize the different spheres among us. Because all of these different offices, all of these different entities among us, they all work together for the common collective of the whole nation that is not desired. So we need to learn how to organize. I'm saying this because I know my time is running out. I'm speeding it up, but this is what I actually want to go through piece by piece, which I'm going to do next week, Lord willing. Y'all all right? But I'm explaining the difference between just us merely gathering together and then gathering together in troops. Let's read. Give me my definitions of the troops. I put them up there.
Troops definition.
Okay. I want y'all to pay attention to what we're looking at. Come on.
Soldiers, armed forces, service personnel, fighting men or women.
So these are all elements of what is known as a troop. So these are different factions of a group that you can call a troop. Y'all understand that? Okay, give me my next slide. Is there something at the bottom? Okay, give me my next slide. Cavalry. Go ahead, read that.
Cavalry.
Zoom in so that people can see.
A cavalry is a group of soldiers who
cavalry is a group of soldiers. Go ahead.
Who fight on horses.
Go ahead.
Cavalry can also refer to any military unit that is quick and mobile.
I want y'all to remember the words like unit, military unit that is quick and mobile. And it's using the word cavalry here, right? Give me my next, what's down there? Move down, let me see, anything? All right, give me my next one. I'm rushing through this. I didn't really want to rush. Okay, here we are again looking at the word troop, correct? That's what we're looking up.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead. Now, listen to this here.
Noun. Trained to fight on horseback.
Okay. Look at that squadron. Types of troops.
Cavalry. This is cavalry.
Right.
Number 2, a highly mobile army unit.
All of this falls within a troop. A cavalry unit consisting of 2 or more troops and headquarters and supporting arms. So this is letting you know that organization, it takes organization to set this up. So it's more than us just merely being gathered together. You got to be gathered together and organized and know how the different entities and the different departments and the different talents and the different parts of the engine of the nation of Israel work collectively to make the whole engine, make the whole car move forward. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So what I wanted to explain, I'm about to close it up. What I wanted to expound on was to not only show that we need to come together as a people, but we need to understand how to appreciate each other's gifts, how to appreciate each other's talents, how to know how to work together, and learn to find our tangent points to each other. If I'm in one particular talent and another brother or sister's in another talent, I want to know where we can connect that. So because all of us connected at our tangent points of our gifts mobilizes the whole nation. That's how this country works. This country has done that in reverse to us. They have an educational system that's different from a judicial system, that's different from an economic system, that's different from what? Some other systems. Let me just name some. I'm just making these points. That's different from the medical system, legal system, economics. All of these systems are different, but they all have tangent points to each other to work collectively to oppress us. You feel me? So we need to understand how to operate in all of these areas to offset what's being done to us through these terroristic actions of our enemies. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So we have to, not only do we need to gather together, but we need to learn how to organize when we do come together, to learn how to set things in place so that we can know how to all move, or know how to move to offset the terroristic actions against us. That's why I said that we are to gather in troops in defiance of the terrorism. We have to defy the terrorist actions that are set to destroy us. But we first need to understand that reality. Y'all all right? All right. Now, give me there's a couple of videos real quick. There's little short ones. Give me, I got to save all of the other ones for next week. Give me the one where you see Captain Gastonia. Can you bring that one up?
Did you want to read Micah 5?
Did we read it?
No, sir.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Read it. Thank you.
Micah.
I need you, man.
Yes, sir. Micah chapter 5, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now gather thyself in troops, O daughter of troops.
Go ahead.
He hath laid siege against us. They shall smite the judge of Israel with a rod upon the cheek.
That's what they did to us. Come on.
But thou, Bethlehem, Ephratah, though thou be little among the thousands.
Though we be little among the thousands around our enemies. That's us now. We feeling all low and all that. Go ahead.
Though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me.
Out of thee shall come forth Christ. I had a whole way of breaking all of this down. I'm just rushing through it now, but when I go over it next week, I'm going to go deeper into it. Read that statement again. Where you at? Out of thee?
Micah chapter 5, verse 2. But thou, Bethlehem Ephratah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me that is to be ruler in Israel.
That's Christ. Go ahead.
Whose goings forth have been from of old, from everlasting. Therefore will he give them up until the time that she which travaileth hath brought forth.
So that's what's talking about when we were being persecuted, when Christ was to be born, and how the Romans have persecuted Israel to keep us from having Christ. That's Revelation, the 12th chapter. Okay. Read Isaiah 54:8. Because it said that this ruler is Christ. Christ is going to deliver us out of this thing.
Isaiah chapter 54, verse 8. In a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment.
So all of what we've been experiencing, all of this tyranny and all of this hell, the Lord called that a little bit of wrath. A little bit of wrath. Because all this hell that we went through is going to be small compared to the blessings he's going to give us when he gets us out of here. Read on.
But with everlasting kindness.
Everlasting kindness is a whole lot longer than a little wrath. Y'all all right? With everlasting kindness, that's what they're going to bring to us. Go ahead.
Will I have mercy on thee?
Will I have mercy on the 12 tribes of Israel, the nation that I love? You black men, black women, you Hispanic men, you Hispanic women, Cubans, Mexican, Native American Indians, you 12 tribes of Israel, the Lord loves you. Go ahead.
Saith the Lord thy Redeemer.
Saith the Lord our Savior, our Redeemer, who's going to redeem us from the hand of our enemies and all that hate us. Y'all all right? All right, play this here. Play this clip here. That's it for my scriptures, and I'm going to close up. But I like I said, I got a lot of more. But I hope y'all enjoyed what y'all saw so far. Hey, play this clip here.
Hey, Shalom, Israel, Most High, Christ, Bled, Captain, get a light. Look, right behind us, you got the police there, and you got an ambulance there, right? Why? Because somebody just got stabbed right in front of the camp. Now, we just finished a youth violence and conflict resolution seminar for the youth. Yeah. But we got grown men fighting in the middle of the street, stabbing each other. And you mean to tell me it ain't a need for the Israelites to be on the street, teaching the word of God, bringing our people to repentance? That's exactly what we're supposed to be doing. Because as you can see, our people need help. Deep down in the ghetto, where the real Hebrews have fled. Deep down in the ghetto, and there's a remnant rising up. Deep down in the ghetto, we finding out the world was made for. We don't believe in violence. Don't believe the lies you hear about us. We was the one that called the police to make sure that this injustice was taken care of. The brothers in purple and gold are all about non-violence. Purple and gold is not a hate group. We're here for the community.
Here to fight, ain't talking about strife. I'm talking getting families right. If my death could bring 1,000 to repentance, let me die tonight.
Okay, brothers and sisters, I hope y'all got a lot out of that class. We didn't get fully into it. And there was more information in that book that I'm going to bring out that I didn't read, but I've got to bring it all out to you. Y'all all right? So all praise to the Most High. Love you, Israel. Most High Christ bless you. Shalom.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is